Welcome back to the familiar location for old time fans, but this is the Control Chaos podcast, and obviously, if you've been paying any amount of attention to online drama surrounding streaming platforms, you've also you can see in the back of my webcam, I'm still unpacking right now because I literally just have gotten back. The last 2 days have been mad laddery, like doing shit like this. So this is jarring for viewers, but yeah, building furniture and it's been kind of hectic. And the webcam is going off now because it doesn't want to stay straight right now. But yeah, if you've been paying any amount of attention, you realize that like streaming platforms have been going through like nice little changes. Some of them good, some of them absolutely batshit insane. To which, if you paid again any amount of attention, we used to do a lot of stuff over on Twitch. I spent a good part of the pandemic getting the channel Twitch to affiliate status, and then eventually, like I was going to go through and partner it and make that some sort of like the only place you would see certain parts of the content, but they decided to fuck everybody over and nuke discoverability and fuck out the payment system for a lot of creators. A lot of the bigger streamers were getting the 70-30 split. Most of us were still only getting 50-50. But it's not something that sits well with me when you're spending literally millions of dollars on getting a concert for TwitchCon in the middle of a drama-fueled week. Did anybody see that one? I did
No.
not. So they instead of paying their creators, they decided to book Megan the Stallion and like two other groups. One I've actually seen live before another concert I went to not too long ago. Meet Me at the Altar. They're a punk band, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that they're spending literally millions of dollars on that instead of paying their creators. So to wrap all of this intro into a nice little neat package so you're not just missing out on a lot of the actual content. We're after I am done with the Manga Monday stuff or whatever day I feel like fucking streaming anymore over there with Fire Force, there will no longer be Twitch content. They will all be on the VOD channel, Control Chaos Studios, moving forward, and we're going to be using that as our like streaming platform. So there will be like light changes to how we do things, obviously, because YouTube has a different playground for how they do things than Twitch. There'll be a like little learning curve, but that's where you'll be seeing all the streams from now on. So instead of what we were originally going to do with Fire Punch again, we'll be reading it off screen and then doing it as like a nice little review for hey, this is chapters 1 through 20. This is chapters 20 through 40, yada yada yada. Uh on Chaos Squared instead of making it some sort of like Manga Monday stream. It just feels more beneficial because I'm already getting burnt out on making manga content, and I'm having a lot more enjoyment doing like the gaming streams and Cards Against Humanity and wacky shit like that with the mods versus me sitting there for 4 hours reading manga. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like that would be also beneficial for us as viewers, because most of the people that view the Manga Monday are actually the mods themselves.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of made me realize how shit the platform was because we were going from like at the start of the pandemic, hundreds of viewers to taking 2 months off and it being tanked down to like 10 to 20 somewhere in there, and then slowly over time during that era, like obviously a lot of people started creating content and they just wanted to get their stuff out there, and it's no shade to them, but having hundreds and thousands and literally millions of people all streaming on one platform kind of ruins it when they try to fit you into a little tiny bubble. Like, this person only streams Valorant, or this person only streams, like, just chatting. And that category in of itself is a fucking cesspool. Because you have everything from sleeping streams to hot tub streams to all sorts of
Sleeping console
ASMR.
stream.
It's weird. It's a weird category. But that's kind of
Don't
what
call sleeping console. Bad idea.
that kind of like what we had to put Manga Monday into, for example. So thinking of how overly populated that was at the time, it started like slowly becoming less and less popular, so to speak. And then they started making like a podcast and talk shows. I tried that as a category because in Twitch there's like the category system, and you could go in and do like various things. Like, this is a fucking speed run of Spider-Man for PC. Just using that as an example because it's one of the more recent things I did. That had more viewers because not a lot of people are still streaming Spider-Man, for example. So people were like, "Hey, somebody's doing this." But like going into like the talk shows or the just chatting categories, it's just the wild fucking west. So finding something like that you weren't in the Discord or you didn't know us, it kind of just was shit. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be doing. And there'll be a lot more like interactivity over there because it's YouTube and you have that on the front page of whatever subscriber feed, and you'll have the ability to actually get into games and have a lot more fun. And obviously there'll be you guys, the mods, joining in on stuff because we can do a lot more on YouTube without the restraints of like trying to have a set schedule like we were trying to have on Twitch.
Yeah, it's funny how that has always come full circle. Like with Control Chaos, how there's always like, okay, there's definitely going to be a schedule. Definitely going to be doing this, and then life gets in the way, and it kind of falls to the wayside.
Yeah, and like just to bring that to like the front here, like the last 3 weeks, I've been home for maybe 5 days out of the last 3 weeks, and I moved in the span like right before I was leaving, in the span of like 52 hours. To say I've had very little sleep until the last few days is an understatement. That's why I'm like, I understand why musicians kind of fall into substance abuse problems because you need something to keep you awake when you're catching a red eye from fucking Michigan to Chicago to Indiana, like the second the show ends, which was fucking mind boggling to do. Because before that, I only flown twice in my entire life. I've, I have had like no less than 6 fucking last second flights in the last I'm glad I have a little bit of time off to kind of build up that streaming again though, because it's something I really really enjoy. So next week will be a lot of figuring out how the Twitch to YouTube transition will work because I'm going to use the last couple days to kind of finish Fire Force off and give the Twitch a nice send off, and then after that just start solely on YouTube. But there's something you wanted to talk about, Luke. Now that we've spent almost 10 minutes on what's changing, and I think it's a very important topic, especially for our niche of content creation, and it's not making it your sole source of income.
Yeah, let me go up to find out exactly what I said. And I did talk with Tyler about this before after I suggested it. Where is it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, here it is. I found it. So the thing I wanted to just say is um, like you should like people who are out I don't want to I don't want to say oh, trying to make YouTube your sole income is a bad idea, because it's not. It's very ambitious, and I applaud people who have been able to succeed about it. It's more the people who are like, I want to do these things, but not like put in the effort to do them, and then I'm like, and then you're like being depressed over it. If you get what I mean.
Oh yeah, you see, for the longest time, I thought that there was like one algorithm that ruled YouTube. Like you fit into one specific algorithm, but there are multiple algorithms that kind of control where your content goes.
Yeah.
And fitting yourself into a niche will typecast you for life on this platform. That's why I find this main channel so freeing.
Oh
Whereas
yeah, for
like
sure.
Chaos Squared is the typecast, like this is a manga channel. Controlled Chaos Studios is going to be this is the streaming channel, and that you know typecast those. But we have so much more freedom here to do the dumb shit that we want to do
Yeah.
without being like filtered directly to like you have searched 3,500 times for One Piece reviews. Here is a channel that is doing One Piece reviews. So now you see it getting filtered out to your like subscription feed or your glorified in the modern times where you just call it a for you page, your main feed, your front page of YouTube. Unless you're lucky enough to get really big really quick, you're going to be struggling to kind of get off the ground. Like for the longest time, we were getting 1 to 3 views on videos, and we got a little bit luckier when we did like solely manga reviews on this channel. But that burnt me personally the fuck out. Um, Talking about like Promise Neverland, Black Clover, yada yada yada, over and over and over again. But it brought in views, and then once you start seeing those numbers go up, number go up, and brain go, ooh, I can make this a full time career. But you still have to make sacrifices to
Yeah.
make any of this a big thing for you.
Yeah, and one of sorry to interrupt. I just want to say on one of the sacrifices that you have to make is like be prepared to be typecast, which is which is why I've never I've made it perfectly clear to myself, like, I don't want this to be a career. I want to do it because I generally like talking about the series that I like, and which in this case it's Yo's Fam on my channel, because I do generally enjoy talking about the series. I get happy when a chapter comes out and can't wait to share my thoughts about it. Um, but also as well, it gives me the chance, like, okay, I only do like the reviews, and then I can go and do whatever else I want, and don't have to worry about, am I making money off this thing, because I'm not. I'm never going to make money off it, and even if it's just one person watching it or commenting on it, like Party Jams does, that just makes me happy to find that, hey, someone's willing to put up with me talking for half an hour about this one chapter.
And then you're right, because you do get typecast. Like we were the cum wall guys. Like for the longest time, that stupid joke still haunts our comments. Uh,
I'm surprised the hentai devil joke doesn't haunt the comments more.
I mean, the hentai devil will be coming back in some capacity. But it like all things in content creation, like it changes, it modifies, it never stays the same. Like going through all of these phases of the channel to like where it started with a podcast with 5 or 6 of our friends that we knew from an old Facebook group to now it's essentially like members of our community that have become good friends, and occasionally like our like main 3 pop in here, myself, Red, Thurman, and that's the channel, and it's so satisfying to have kind of come full circle with that. But at the same time, it's a very challenging thing when you see that you're not doing as good as you were 3 4 months ago. Like even big YouTubers go through this like depression slump. Like I watched the Goons, for example, and there was like a good period of time where all McNasty talked about was like, I'm not getting the views I was when I was doing Siege. Yeah, and he, he got kind of typecast into Siege funny moments content, and that's all that his viewers wanted. But at the same time, like Siege became, if you've ever played it, a kind of ungovernable game, like almost to the point where anything you did would get you banned. Uh, if you were even slightly toxic towards your friends or your teammates, like, oh, I accidentally, finger quotes, killed my buddy because he was standing in the way of my shot. Oh, well, it would be a ban. And that was a lot of the types of content that they would make. And seeing, like, account get banned because you're just having fun with friends in a private lobby kind of burns you out of that type of content. So they went on to do other things, but it would never get the good views that that shit would make. Until here recently, like he said, fuck it, and started playing games that he enjoyed with the rest of the group, the friends and co-hosts that he's had along the years, and that's kind of what this has become because you know, despite despite analytics, I genuinely enjoy doing podcasts like this or fucking talking about the Massiverse with Thurman or dumb tier lists, stuff like that. Instead of sitting here yammering on about on page 35 of this chapter, Asta went brr. I stuff like that just bores me. Being this monotone, fucking reviewer. That's why I never wanted to be typecast into that. And that's kind of why I'm like, it's freeing that Manga Monday is soon leaving, and because that's kind of what it felt like was the ironically popular thing on Twitch, even though it was usually just members of the Discord or followers of the Twitter, knowing that we're going live. But for like Luke's point was there's a very very arrogant pride in becoming a content creator that you think that this can be the only thing you do ever. You can never go back and potentially have a 9 to 5 job to make ends meet or pay your rent or, buy food. You have to only be sitting in front of your computer editing a video or making a script or fucking recording that piece of content. There is more to life than this.
Yeah, and it's and to go into another uh, area of uh, similarity. It's like with when you get like actors who like have a bit of like a look streak because it's all look based. Like um, YouTube and acting, like you'll get like really big for a while, but then things will start to dry up, and it's like it comes to a point where sustain this and you have to bite the bullet, go and get a job. And hey, you might get satisfaction about doing that job. You might meet people that you actually like and might be talking about things that you do like as well. It's not. I don't like that attitude of like people like 9 to 5 jobs are just all the same because they're really not. It just depends on the people you work with as well. Yeah, and and again, going back to people who have that arrogance of like thinking that they can make it. I think I don't want to say their name. I don't want to say their name because I really don't want to call them out anymore than I already have done in the past on Twitter. But there is one YouTuber who thinks that they can do the 9 to 5, not the 9 to 5, the YouTube full time when all they're doing is just doing reaction videos, which they call reviews. But unlike other people who like actually go through and analyze the chapter and discuss like theories and like, oh, what could this potentially lead to, they just read the chapter.
Yeah, and the issue with that particular type of content is it's not even like reacting to manga unless you fit into that niche very early on is an oversaturated side of YouTube, because you have, traditionally, like, your King of Lightnings, your Tekken 101s, your Chibi reviews. You have those big creators there, and then you have every Tom, Dick, and Harry nutsack on the planet that thinks that sitting in front of a fucking manga scanlation site is good content. I know that's
Yeah.
very, very ironic that I'm doing this, because that is like what Manga Monday is. But
Yeah, that's very ironic,
but,
because when I had my YouTube channel, that was like my last ditch effort. I was like,
but,
fuck it, I'm gonna read some manga.
right,
but,
and
but
there's nothing wrong with trying that, but that's a side of YouTube that is very overly saturated, and you're not going to get a lot of CPM. You're not going to get a lot of views, because you're fitting into a category with literally another 100,000 people across the world doing the same exact thing.
exactly. And when they are getting depressed, I'm thinking like, I haven't, because literally today the same person posted on their Twitter, I am behind $600 on rent. The YouTube algorithm sucks, and people have said in the past to them like, "Oh, what you can, what can, oh, here's what you can do," but they've always put barriers up. That's the main problem I have with them. It's like people have tried to help them, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, do this, do this," but putting up barriers. And the worst thing about it is when they've alienated like half of the whole Japanese otaku community by trashing every anime out there on the planet because it's not 100% down to the pixels, were panel to panel perfection in their eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's the other issue. Like, when you're not only in this particular case, anyway, when you're not only in that overly saturated category of creator, and you're alienating 95% of your audience by bashing the other side of that exact same medium, you're not going to have a very good time on that kind of a platform. And when you knock down every single opportunity from creators, big, small, and also put up barriers for every suggestion that your fan base has put out there, why would somebody come back to a channel like that? Yeah, that's the thing in that particular case. I'm trying very desperately not to name this creator, but I'm sure if you're in the AnyTube or any MangaTube community, you know exactly who we're referring to.
If people have seen, like my retweets of some of their tweets and just being like,
Or mine.
serious, yeah, like, because as well as another thing as well, it's like they this will give the biggest clue away when they're saying like, "Oh, we're not sponsored. We're not sponsored considering how much we promote promote this platform on this show." But then you go out and say like, "When are the scanlations coming out so I could talk about this?"
Or a scanlation group has finally picked up this gym. Videos coming soon, and you're tagging the original source materials creators, and you
Yeah,
wonder why you can't get a sponsorship. But yes, like that. That is one very, very big side of it. The other side of like this, that's the biggest obstacle for me to overcome now, on the fucking stream side of things, is I'm technically going into just as fucking overly saturated side of YouTube, and the fact that I'm doing gaming streams, but I'm not doing it with the goal of making it big. I'm doing it with the goal of just having fun with it. That's the other side of it. You have to be able to have fun with your content, otherwise people are going to realize that you're doing this solely for the funds, solely for the, oh, I got to get a video out by 8 p.m., otherwise it's not going to do well. And so many people
yeah,
go into that with the sole desire to make money, instead of the sole desire to enjoy what you're doing on this platform. And that's the biggest thing for me, is like, when I watch somebody on YouTube, because I still consume YouTube, because I I just don't consume the sides of YouTube that I participate in. I don't read. I don't really watch AniTube because of doing the Chaos Squared stuff. I don't watch a whole lot of Let's Plays anymore, unless it's like nostalgic because it's technically another side of what I'm doing. I love watching like funny moments, gameplay stuff like that. That's why the Goons, Misfits, stuff like that fits into what I watch. But like, if I'm viewing your video and I can tell you're fucking hating it, why are you making that video? You obviously are not enjoying what you're consuming to do it. So why do it? Other than the fact that it's just greed, it's money. That is your sole goal. It's soulless. It's like the AI generated art that's going around Twitter. Like, stop. Do something you enjoy for a change. That's what I like with Tekken, for example. Like, I know he would like to get outside of just doing, Bleach or One Piece, but he's so accustomed to doing those types of videos because it's what brings views, which brings money.
Yeah, and I don't like Splash on him because he has mentioned me in at least one of his Bleach videos before. But again, like, I would love it if he would at least do like okay, he doesn't have to do he doesn't have to do like regular content on other things, but just do like, say, people give him a suggestion of a series to read, he binges it until he's caught with it, and then gives a review on it and says what he likes, dislikes, whether or not he's going to continue with it.
Right, and his fans would be receptive of that too because they realize that there is more than one manga in the fucking world. You know,
Yeah,
it's
like,
just how typecast he's become because of what he's done for so long.
yeah, like, I think he would honestly, personally, and I know it's kind of cliche for me to say this at this point. He would personally, I feel, enjoy Machine Sakura Family if he actually sat down and read it.
Mm-hmm. Just like Red, if he would sit down and read it, I think he would enjoy it. But he just genuinely doesn't want to read a whole lot of other manga. Yet he's reading Call of the Night now. They watch the anime.
And he picked up Ruri Dragon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rui Dragon, I think everybody on the planet picked up.
Yes.
I didn't pick it up.
For some reason, really?
Yeah.
Why not? I am curious. I am side tangent. I am curious. Why did you not pick it up?
Well, firstly, I'm happy that I'm finally contributing to this because I haven't been contributing to this at all, and I'm sorry. But secondly, it just didn't interest me. I have my niche with like the few manga that I read currently. It's One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, JJK, Yo's Fam, and P6. And I don't really tend to go outside that. I tried that with Dororon, and I got bored.
Well, that ended anyway, so
I just oh, sorry. I am medicating right now. But
Yeah.
the fucking, I think Ruby Dragon is Kobayashi's Dragon Maid if it wasn't so lewd.
yeah, that's pretty much idea we could get behind.
Sorry.
And
Really?
everybody is everybody has been affected by the illness devil.
Yeah. Well, I have been affected by the Stillwater glorious 420 peach. If you know, you know. So Michigan dispensary. But no, like, there is a very interesting era we're in right now because with all of the side channels kind of spinning out, I think it's a content renaissance, really, in a way, because we get a chance to do so many different unique things here. With the studios, we get to do like a lot more live streaming and not be affected by the 24-hour clause. If we don't stream on one, then nobody's gonna know. They'll never know. but at the same time, like with Chaos Squared, like getting to do so many different manga discussions. Like I know Ann Arbor, for example, would love to pick up where Thurman left off with One Piece and talk about it on there. And it's something the Reds actually been receptive to. So
Talking about One Piece?
talking about One Piece.
Oh.
So and then there's the chance of like bringing in like Look Back and all the other like Fujimoto one shots. We've been talking about doing a lot more with Fire Punch and just going back and doing like reviews on those now that we're kind of dropping Manga Monday. It makes for you guys, the viewers, are going to be able to kind of have more freedom with our kind of content now because I while I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of manga related content anymore, it seems like with how we've done things now, it's allowed like people like Tyler, Luke, Ann Arbor, Zangetsu, Andrew for the JoJo stuff. I've got like 20 hours before he gets married. Jesus Christ. That like people like that just kind of come in and filled roles for that. And what I want from viewers is to recommend games to play. I want them to be able to pop into fucking like if we do a multiplayer, I want them to be able to pop into our multiplayer sessions. I want them to be able to kind of just be part of the channel now. Obviously, within reason, I still have the directorial ability to nuke your content off the channel if you say something racist or homophobic, so don't come into the COD lobby and say the N-word like it's 2006. I had to get at least one Call of Duty joke in, because we're talking about gaming too, or be able to recommend manga for us to have a review of some sort on Chaos Squared now, because now that it's not a part of the Twitch, we can still go in and read like 10, 20 chapters or something, see if we like it, and if we do, we can turn it into a review. It could be, you know, the next series that we pick up and review on a regular basis when Chainsaw Man Part 2 ends. Or it could just be like a one-off, like we binged the entire series, here's our thoughts on it kind of video. And
Yeah.
I really want to revisit some of our classic ideas here on the main channel.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, and another one that I suggested to you, Fex, which you recipient of, is doing a follow up to what we were doing with Power Rangers Time Fury, basically going through and binging the entire franchise of Power Rangers and doing retrospective on each era. So like from Power Rangers Mighty Morphin to like
We'll say Lost Galaxy for that, because it still kind of ties into Zordon.
the Sordon era, yeah, and then the Lightspeed Rescue to Wild Force, the end of the Saban era, and etc. etc. And that's something that I'm
getting PTSD flashbacks every time somebody mentions Lightspeed Rescue.
But yeah,
hey, you will get to talk about STD.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that's something I would really like to. I'd hope, and maybe if I can push myself to it, read the Power Rangers comics and do reviews on them as well.
I highly recommend it. It's a different take, but it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing. Like I put in the Toku Fanboy channel today the final design for the Death Ranger from MMPR 100. Which is Ryan Parrott's last issue on the series until he comes back, because all of the writers seem to come back at least for a one-shot comic. But like just seeing that design, something so fucking terrifying out of the Power Rangers comics, because traditionally this is a series that is not overly dark, but this is like a manifestation of itself from the grid of death. And just thinking of that as a concept, like think of how many Rangers could have fallen through the era. Think of like all of the fucking there's what's called Power Rangers Unlimited comic that explains what the Death Ranger really was brought for. But like, think of a concept of something like that. That seems to be the way it's headed. Because like even at the end of this issue, like obviously because it's Power Rangers, the evil was defeated and ushers in a new era. But and that's the like Melissa Flores era from like 100 on or 101 on. And somebody that's so integral into the Power Rangers mythos because she worked with them for years and years and years on the franchise in the Nick era. So it's something so refreshing to see a tale so dark out of an arguably like lighthearted slapstick series. I've talked it to death. Like even in the early days of like the Beyond the Grid era on like the Azazel's rants shit that I used to do, like them bringing like Sentai specific Rangers in, like it's so cool. It's so fucking cool. I definitely recommend you read them. I definitely don't recommend you hunt down the hardback editions like I do, because I have spent upwards of like $200 for one volume of them.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're like short print. So like what I do now, because I'm smart, is I fucking pre-order them, and I only pay like sticker price for them, which is $75. But that's like an entire year's omnibus. Instead of me having to hunt down the individual issues because they'll sell out so goddamn fast now. I just buy like this is year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. I've got up to in November they're putting out like the first Go-Go Power Rangers one, which is like the early era stuff, and then they're putting out the Necessary Evil year 2 stuff, which Necessary Evil, mwah. But yeah, like the fanboying about Power Rangers aside, like that's the kind of stuff that I love doing, and with Tyler's tier list still like going on, and we got the fucking boss battle tier list that we still need to finish up. Now that Andrew's getting married tomorrow, he'll have more free time since he's done with all the like wedding planning that he's been doing for the last couple months, where everything kind of got hectic and shuffled around. We have such a cool era of content coming up. And one that I really one stupid idea we had way back in the day was a more complicated villain more important, for example. I want to do more concepts like that, right? Where it's
Yeah.
just like does a dumb hero make for a better hero? Because look at fucking Denji.
And also as well, look at Kazuma from Konosuba.
God, you don't get dumber than that. Like,
Yeah, but also as well, that's led into something that I would generally like to do, like debate more debate videos. So like,
to change my mind, I want to come back at some point as well.
oh yeah, so like for example, just to do, just to think about it. Think about like, is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers overrated? A debate, or like which is better, Legend of Korra or Avatar: The Last Airbender, stuff like that.
Like those are all like great ideas, and like this is just like the brainstorming in real time while also talking about like the state of the channel, while also there's other things I do want to get to, but this is a great conversation on like what we can be bringing back. And it's been such an interesting year for chapter releases that I really do think that there needs to be a follow-up to that. I think it was a 2018 video, like the top 5 chapters of the year, and just have everybody come in and talk about their top 5 chapters from whatever the fuck they've been reading.
That
would be good.
I would
the
be.
only caveat of it had to have come out this year.
You know? Oh yeah, of course.
Because for me, I'm going back and rereading. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Fucking Naruto.
Or a follow-up to that, like top 5 chapters of our top 5 favorite series that we've read.
Yeah, well, mine has officially changed. From the 6 hour fucking live stream, so that'll be
Yeah.
interesting. Like Red, like I honestly think that Chainsaw Man has entered into my top five. Like no cap, it has entered into my top five series, and that's baffling to me because like him, mine's been pretty concrete for a long time. Which is it just goes to show like how phenomenal of a writer Fujimoto really is to be able to break something that's been pretty stable for the like good part of like 10 years.
Yeah, and I've got to say that last Chainsaw Man chapter, that might actually be my chapter of the year so far.
Yeah, it's just a real conversation happening in real time, and there's something so refreshing about that because obviously like all chapters are happening technically in real time unless it's a flashback chapter, but having such a normal conversation, like it flowed so naturally, having that as an entire chapter was just masterclass. But like the idea of like top five chapters of all time, that does sound like a great video. Um, I think another one that we really need to go back to is like do a retrospective of series that we've used to review. And see if like were they as bad as we put them out to
Oh
be,
yeah.
or or was it like a recency bias, or was it something that just really was that terrible? I would love to watch the boys suffer through all of My Hero Academia again,
Yeah.
and do a retrospective on it.
But yeah, and because I've been seeing that recently with like Bleach coming back and like people actually going and binging the final arc, and people saying like, yeah, the ending is rushed, but the actual arc itself, if you binge it, if you binge it all in one go, it's actually really really good.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that would be better binging. Just like I believe the current Black Clover arc would be better upon a binge. But it definitely like feels so slow yet so rushed at the same time that I don't know what the fuck Tabata's doing. And that's how I felt reading Bleach, The Thousand Year Blood War when it was coming out. But like thinking back to it, like it wasn't a bad arc. It was just so fucking rushed that it would feel better on that binge. What I really find baffling though is the fucking Fullbringer apologist now.
Uh, well, well, here's the thing: if they want to apologize, they can do. But also, as well, one thing I've never understood about people who don't like Bleach but like something like One Piece is whenever any of the characters got damaged or anything in Bleach, people would say like, "Oh, they're crusty, they cannot fight." But when it happens in other series, people are fine with it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't get people like that, but I also realize that at the end of the day, there's going to be hate for what's popular, and even even during its downfall, like Bleach was popular here in the West. So seeing people enjoy it, they're going to hate on it. They're not going to give a
Yeah,
reason or an objective reason why they hate it. They're going to hate it. I
yeah.
hate My Hero Academia because it's poorly fucking written. And
I hate
I've
Seven Deadly
seen.
Sins because it's the fucking author's thinly veiled fetish.
I see you too have seen Invisible Girls.
Yes,
Cover page.
I posted it in the manga spoilers, and I was like, okay, Horikoshi is not even trying.
But I do think back to the fact that like this character has been just running around naked the entire time as well. It's just like this time they decided to give her a boudoir fucking color page for some reason.
Yeah, she's not even like a central character. She is like the most backgroundy of backgroundy characters you can possibly
she's
think of.
literally invisible other than her gloves and knee highs.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how people bash on the whatchamacallit, the female, the quote unquote female main, the main female in the new Pokemon series, Pokemon Journeys, because she is and she isn't the main female. When actually she's done more. She's done more in that series than half the cast in My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
yeah, and that's another one I want to do at one point, like binge all of Pokemon Journeys to actually see like would it work better as a binge, because I'm seeing a lot of people on the Pokemon YouTube side who are like, oh, these battles they're getting rushed and everything, and I'm just there baffled that people are thinking like that. Like it's it's pretty much champion level Pokemon. They're gonna get defeated in 1 or 2 hits.
That's the thing that I didn't understand about that. Like, thanks to the Pokemon games, right? When you get to the Elite Four, your Pokemon are arguably the strongest they're going to be till they reach level 100. But like to a trainer perspective, like you're the strongest you're going to be in the main game. That's essentially what Ash is doing right now. He's at the league, and these are all the Elite Four. So why wouldn't his Pokemon be able to one shot, or their Pokemon be able to one shot at any capacity in a step this far in a journey? Like,
yeah,
it's baffling because
yeah,
I fucking hate the Pokemon community in general.
yeah, and I hate them as well now because of the fact that they're saying like, oh, we don't like Ash's team because it's not like it's not being done in the same way that it's been done before. So bring back his old Pokemon.
Bring Charizard back. I want Charizard. I want Charizard all the time. It's the only Pokemon that matter. Don't think back to fucking Indigo League when he was a spoiled rotten cunt the entire fucking series.
Yeah, and when you bring that up to a certain Pokemon anime YouTuber, you are gonna get banned. Pokewrath. I don't care. I'm calling them out like.
Dude,
Pokewrath.
I don't give two no PokeTuber's gonna watch this video.
No, so Pokewrath, if by some miracle you watch this or someone,
Pokewrath reacts live stream here. We're listening to this timestamp that was sent to us about this podcast. So probably 95 people are gonna watch.
Yeah, but seriously, if you're gonna ban me for having an opinion that you don't disagree with on Twitter or block me or whatever, then shame on you, because Charizard was Leon's ace Pokemon, and the fact that they don't want to include him in Scarlet and Violet, that is okay because he's had his time in the spotlight.
He's more than had his time in the spotlight, and then shit on that time in the spotlight by coming back as a glorified Power Rangers episode. But no, like, I'm making fun of the fucking, like, every Ranger returning and it being spoiled here. Because every time they bring Charizard back, it just creates this cesspool of, like, he's the only one that matters. And it's the same thing in the Power Rangers community. Like,
Wasn't he only
thing
brought
that
back like
matters.
twice?
Yeah, and that needs to stop with Tommy and Power Rangers, because
I'm so glad he's retired from the role.
Yeah, I'm glad as well. Like, yes, he is the most popular Power Ranger. There's no denying that. But popularity can work in both ways, and it can be deteriorating. Like, for example, Dimensions in Danger, the 25th anniversary episode that aired during Super Ninja Steel. I saw someone reacted to that, and all they cared about was Tommy and the Returning Rangers, and they did not care two shits about the Ninja Steel team, which, to be fair, the Ninja Steel team, it's not the best team, but it's still better than a Ranger never lets go of his weapon.
That was just a Tommy fanboy orgasm 101, the episode, and it was so annoying because I didn't watch any of Ninja Steel at all yet.
It's okay. It's very reminiscent of Mighty Morphin. It's not. It's one of those series. Aside from the 25th anniversary episode and the fact that it has the greatest Power Rangers actor ever, Kelson Henderson. It's not doing anything special, but at the same time, it's not doing anything. It's not hair splitting like Megaforce was.
Okay. Well, the only episode I decided to watch was that because I'm like, oh, this is the Master Morpher. This is something that's kind of like tying into, in a sense, the Power Rangers comics. So I kind of wanted to see it, and I'm just like, this is like if the r/Power Rangers redditors fucking jizzed on a script.
and it wrote out, "We want Tommy."
Right. It's that's how bad it was. It's like I pictured the writers as Randy Marsh for the when the internet died episode where it's just ghost came in.
Oh, have you seen people reacting to that scene on YouTube?
I have. I've seen a couple hit my fucking front page, and I'm like, yes, we felt the same way. That is what porn addiction looks like, not what you see on TikTok. And give your soul over to the Lord, and you'll beat masturbation. That's what porn addiction looks like.
That truly was Cumwall the episode.
It was. I wanted Red to edit that up so bad, but I'm like, is it worth the joke?
Yes, it's worth the joke.
It was too much effort for him to do that.
Okay.
The copyright on that as well. Although I don't think fucking Matter Trey would give two shits that we use the 3-second clip, but Comedy Central might.
Yeah, Comedy Central
or
probably
now
would.
HBO Max would just take down the video and write it off on their taxes. Have you guys seen the Lord and Savior of all lost media right now going on around on Twitter?
No.
Yeah,
So there's a Hanna-Barbera account, that's all I'm going to say, that's going around and putting up like Google Drive links of all the shows that are being written off. So like shit like Final Space, Mighty Magiswords, OKKO, all of those. There's like Google Drive links floating around the Twitterverse.
oh,
And I love that somebody's doing it just to spite Warner Brothers right now because, like, these are There's also going to tie into another thing I want to bring up, but these are creators that didn't know until like the day of that their show is no longer existing, that they're without a job now, and they're having to go out and find like emergency work because they thought they were getting a check for season 2 or a pilot at least for some of these projects. And this person's just like, you know what, fuck Warner Brothers. I'm just putting them all on a Google Drive, and y'all can view them. I love shit like that. I am like the number one proponent, in my perspective, is media preservation. That's why I hate shit like live service games, even though I participate in them. You pay attention to my fucking Twitter. I participate in them, but I hate them to the core. Like, the fact that once this server shuts down, every dollar you spend on this game, every dollar that was spent on the creation of it, it no longer matters because it is essentially dead. You can no longer connect to it. Overwatch recently, that game no longer exists. Fuck Activision Blizzard, but I like using that as an example. For people that create new accounts, this is the biggest thing for me. For people that create new accounts, they start with what is initially unlocked in the game, and they have to unlock even the original game's fucking characters. So, say you create an Overwatch 2 account, because like everything ties into that now. You now have to basically buy Tracer, Diva, Mercy, whatever isn't unlocked in the original launch version of Overwatch 2. You have to basically fucking pay for now. Even though it came with the original game, which is worked into the fucking netcode of this game. It's so fucking scummy. And when this game dies, every dollar that these people have spent for 2 games are now down the drain. every loot box that they bought, every battle pass that they paid for. That no
All
longer
down.
matters.
Yeah, and that is really annoying because there's some games out there that I really wish we could just get on Steam for free at least.
And that's a big thing that annoys me. Like I love so many games that are no longer available. For Christmas, for this, it's still available, but for Christmas, Andrew gifted me the prototype games, right? And I never really had a chance to finish them because at the time that those games came out, like I had really, really, really bad, unmanageable ADHD, and like that kind of prevented me from like completing them because I would get overwhelmed to the degree that I would see all the points on the map, and I'd be like, "How am I going to do this one?" But I need to do this one. I need, my brain would just shut down. So he gifted them to me. Now that it's more managed, and I still get frustrated, but like there is literally workarounds to workarounds to workarounds to get that game to even launch on Steam. It's so fucking insane that because the original game came out, I believe it was Windows 7 um that was out. But a lot of those games were written for a specific engine that was being used that was optimized for that. Because the engine is no longer optimized, it kind of just shits out. So there's people that have written like scripts to get it to actually launch in a manageable display port or display format, and also to get it to run on Windows 10 in general. Now that Windows 11 is out, they had to redo that entire thing just to get it to run. That's another annoying part of PC gaming. As much as I'm a simp for all of my shit is here on Steam or in Epic Games or whatever, I fucking hate that there has to be so many workarounds for older games. And to Luke, there's one game that I think you and I both recognize that's no longer available and is only somewhat playable because of pirates. That's Star Wars Galaxies.
Yes, yes, Star Wars Galaxies, but uh, and as well another game which is only still available because of people putting in the time and effort to keep it alive. Freelancer.
I completely forgot that game existed. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's still about like there's a whole community who's dedicated to like creating a sort of like online server called the Discovery Server or Freelancer, which you can download from their website, and basically adding in new enemies, new systems, and everything, and it's just kept the spirit of the original game alive. And Freelancer is one of my favorite games to play that I played a lot of back in the day, but you can't get it anymore except under that circumstance. Thankfully, there's not a lot of hurdles to walk through of it. But at the same time, if people didn't take the time and effort to keep it alive and make that a success that it has, then it would have vanished into obscurity.
yeah, so I'm probably aging myself here, but either of you know of the game Ultima?
Vaguely.
Okay, so Ultima is one of the oldest examples of an MMO, and it is so ugly to look at right now. I guess it also exists solely because pirates have like private servers and keep the code alive. But I went back because of one of those servers and I logged into my Jesus fucking Christ, I think like 22-year-old account. And I had to go through the process of like reset my password for a 22-year-old email account. Uh,
Wow.
so like my recovery email was my recovery email to another recovery email to another recovery email all the way down to my current email address now. Um so that was a long process of just trying to download this server, and fucking unpack a RAR file that is older than like some albums I still have in rotation, and I couldn't look at it. And I am a huge retro game fan, but like looking at this old project, it's so ugly, and I think that's what is kind of ruining the spirit for me. Is like I can't look at something that's less than photorealistic and think it's beautiful anymore. But I am so goddamn proud that somebody has the forethought to preserve something so meaningful to so many people. Because this is a game that is old enough to where, like, this was pre MySpace. This was people, communicating over, like, AIM, like AOL Instant Messenger, to set up parties, to go through and find out how TeamSpeak worked, to get all of these little steps together. It's so old that it has a world record for, I believe, the first in-game marriage. Like, people literally got
Wow.
married in this game. And those people actually, there's a story, though, that was floating around Reddit. Like, they actually, like, through that, like, in-game wedding, exchanged information, started dating long distance, and ended up getting married IRL. And that's why it holds a world record, because, like, this was an era before, like, the gaming world record, where you could, like, even send in, like, your fucking... I did this back in the day. Like, I sent in my memory card for, like, what I thought was a speed run of Resident Evil 4. And they would validate that you didn't use any hacks on the memory card. They mail it back to you, and like, you have the world record for the fastest completion, or whatever. That was something that they used to do. Now you can just validate it online. Like, yeah, this is a legit account. They have the most headshots in fucking Warzone or some shit. Weird how far we've come there. But, like, I'd love that something so meaningful is preserved through that. And I wish more companies would do what Google's doing, um, if their service shuts down. And I'm referring to Stadia shutting down here. Something that anybody with any forethought of the internet and knowledge of how the internet itself still functions in some countries knew that, like, cloud gaming was too early. We tried this with OnLive. The Geki back end of that became what's now PlayStation Now. Um, and back then it was like PlayStation View or some shit. But yeah, PlayStation Now exists because of the death of that. Google is going through and refunding everybody's purchases for the Stadia software, hardware, um, any bundles that they got with their phones or their, like, Google Homes. They're refunding that. What I wish they would have done is give the developers knowledge that, hey, by the way, this platform that your game is locked to no longer exists. The store just instantly shut down, meaning that creators were cut off from their revenue. And they had no knowledge of this shutting down at all. Just very, very scummy. But it fits right in with Google's MO. Like, Google has killed off so many projects so heinously that they have a site. I think I mentioned this before. It's called killedbygoogle.com. And it goes through every single project that has been killed off. It's insanely detailed. It's going back to, like, stuff like Google Glass, which, if that was released now, would be a big hit, because we are in an era where, like, augmented reality and virtual reality are, like, big forefronts, from everything from pop culture to shit like Oculus or Pokemon Go for the augmented reality stuff. Like, it's very prominent. I think 10, 15 years from now, like, Google Stadia will be look back and like, yeah, that colossal failure there, that would have aged really well now. Because there's no longer an Xbox, there's no longer a PlayStation, there's no longer a fucking anything that's not a PC or streaming platform. Just wild to think about, but I genuinely do think that's the direction we're going in right now for gaming. Which is terrifying to somebody like me, because I like physical media. I like owning my product. but there's really no such thing as owning your product anymore in the era of gaming we're in now. So it's something I'm very slowly having to come to terms with. That even if I buy a physical disc, I might not own the license to this product 5 years down the line.
Yeah, and also as well, another major problem is that most computers nowadays they don't have the disk drive.
I I bought a disc drive for this PC and I don't even use it.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to what you were saying there, yeah, like three of my favorite games growing up, which I really wish they would bring back in some capacity on either on Steam or Origin are Theme Park World, Theme Hospital, and Dungeon Keeper Gold.
Dungeon Keeper Gold. Jesus Christ.
I am old. I am old, I know, but Dungeon Keeper Gold, I would honestly, I feel because that had a multiplayer, I feel that if that was brought back, that would get so much viewership from like people streaming it and doing like dungeon battles that it would probably destroy the internet.
See, like in an era of like deception gaming, like Among Us, fucking, um, like shit, I can't even think of it anymore. Phasmophobia kind of dives into that too, but like in a era of games like that, like it would do really well. The sad part is EA tried to bring it back, but they made it a fucking mobile game, and they microtransaction the hell out of it, and it got shut down like a few months later. Because they fucked it up
EA
Which
so
is
just
bad.
sad.
did what EA does best. Just fucks everything up.
I feel so bad for Command and Conquer fans for that reboot. I loved Command and Conquer. I bought that shit day one and refunded it in like 25 minutes. It was so bad. I refund very few games, but that was so heinous it had to be refunded. Uh, but no, like it's strange to think back on like games that would age better now because there's so many classic franchises that need to come back because of that very thing. I I hate I hate using I hate using it as an example, but I was a big fan of Medal of Honor.
Yeah, yeah, I can. I even though I wasn't a big fan of it myself, um, I can see why people really do like it.
It was a much better take on historic accuracy of war versus Call of Duty that just amps up the action scenes. And I was big into like World War I and World War II history as a kid because I grew up, with family that fought in that. I'm like, oh, I want to know about the battles Grandpa was in. I really, it really got into that and seeing like those battles portrayed in that. And then they tried to bring it back during like the Iraq War era, and they kind of like ubered up the glorification of the military. But I think that like a franchise like that now would work because the multiplayer in that was so tight. I think it would work really good as like a live service game for like real big jarheads. I think that would work really well now, and like almost a Call of Duty Warzone esque style of gameplay. I think that would work really well. Like 100 on 100, like full on battles kind of thing. Because now we have servers that can do the shit that Mag back in the PS3 era could promise it would do, like 256 versus 256 battles. Remember that?
No, I don't. Just to quickly say, I'll be right back in a couple of minutes.
All right, but
All
those,
right.
but like that was a game that promised like these massive like battles, but the PS3 servers couldn't handle it at all. But
It kind of sucks that I can't really contribute to this conversation, which I apologize if I've just been really silent. I've just been unsure of what to say because I'm kind of out of my depths here.
yeah, you're all good, man. But no, like something like that, I feel like would work really well. But I think there's one that you and I both think would work really well, and that's the SNK Fighter series. as like a full-on reboot of that franchise because we've had a renaissance of like fighting games coming back. Like King of Fighters came back really well. Guilty Gear is doing really well, but King of Fighters really hasn't had a chance to shine in a very, very long time.
That's true, unfortunately. Like, especially with SNK's like very rocky history. Like they've gone from like doing really well to like being bought out by a pachinko company and having and being scrapped for parts to then scrapping themselves for parts in making pachinko machines to now being owned by a company that's owned by a company that is funded by the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, ain't it?
Yeah, it's weird and like we do have that new Fatal Fury game that's like in the works right now.
mm-hmm.
And,
I
and like
honestly didn't even know about that.
oh yeah, it was revealed at Evo.
Oh, I missed that announcement amongst all the other announcements, I guess. But
Yeah, but yeah, like absolutely, I would love to see like a fighting game take on that sort of like gaming service format because like we see it going on right now with multiverses and that's a fucking hit.
right, it's this thing. Like as weird as it is to see that, like we did technically have two like light takes on it on the PS3. Like there was a Marvel versus Capcom version, and then there was like Tekken. Oh, actually three. There was one that was Soul Calibur. There was a Tekken one called I think it was Tekken Revolution, and Soul Calibur had like Soul Calibur Unlimited, um, and they basically just rotated out like weekly characters, um, which is kind of cool. Or you could pay like an exorbitant amount of money to get gems and buy them because they basically were glorified mobile games ported onto that onto the PS3 because they got upscaled. But yeah, like you could do something like multiverses with SNK. You could do it with I would rather not see it, but I could see Mortal Kombat doing something like it. I would rather just be able to buy the inevitable XL version of Mortal Kombat since Ed Boon can't stop lying.
Yeah.
But like those would be really fun. Another very 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 stupid one is Golden Axe. Because
Golden Axe?
yeah, I'm an old fucker and I loved
But
Golden
like
Axe.
Did
that's
someone say Golden Axe?
I
Because I'm
did.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
oh
both
my god. Have you, Tyler? Have you got? I don't. You need to. I am sorry to say this, but you need to get the Nintendo Switch online and play Golden Axe.
I am not paying fucking $50 a month just to play Golden Axe. If I wanted
Is
to
it
play
It's
really
not
50 a
50.
month?
It's not $50 a month. It's $50 a year.
Okay, I was gonna say Nintendo. I knew you were fucking stupid, but god damn, that's a new level of
I'm
stupid.
not paying fucking $50 a year for one game.
I am
Pokemon
sorry, but
Coliseum are both coming on there too.
yeah, and
I
after the
honestly
crap.
pay 50 a year for Pokemon Coliseum, and I hate that I'm saying that.
Wait. Pokemon Coliseum. What?
Yeah,
You
there's
mean Pokemon Stadium? Or
Pokemon
wait,
Stadium,
Pokemon?
Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium 2. When that came out, I was like, yes, yes, bring it, give me that sweet
Now they need to
nostalgia.
put Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, and Silver on there, and you know they're working on it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do it. I don't
No,
think
you know what they need to put on there? Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Yes,
they're
because
not
I am
gonna do
not
that
paying
either.
$350 fucking dollars for that game, eBay.
Plus 50
Dude,
50 or 60
emulate,
or so for the
emulate.
GameCube.
I already have a GameCube,
I'm
so I
sorry,
don't care.
I'm sorry, but like with a lot of these titles, you could just the best thing you can do is emulate it.
Oh yeah. Trust me, I already have it thanks to Luke.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, in all seriousness, I have been so waiting for Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Stadium 2 to come to Nintendo Switch
I
Online.
knew it was an inevitability. I knew it was because if there's anything that Nintendo can be reliant on, it's milking nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I will bend over and take it every fucking time, Nintendo. You've got me.
Yeah, you've got
I have bought The Legend of fucking Zelda 1 18 fucking times.
what?
Because they used to lock your Nintendo account to a fucking device in the early days of the DS. Until I think it was like the DSi XL, you could not port your goddamn account over. So every time I would get a new DS, because
You'd have to rebuy fucking Zelda 1.
mm-hmm,
Well,
it's not that it was expensive. It's just that they've got me, and they know their market, because people will forever chase their childhood because it gives us comfort. But
Whilst also criticizing their childhood because it's not the same anymore.
back in my day, there were 8 pixels on the screen.
Back in my day, Ash's Pokemon, we actually saw them getting training. I mean, we want to go through the same thing all over again.
back in my day, we used to have figures, and we slapped them on plastic.
Back in my day, I used to be on somebody. No, like racist stereotypes aside. I fucking I hate that I went far enough south to see Confederate flags in my tour. I hate that I went far enough south to see them still flying. But no, there's a very very big market for what you can have on that service, right? And I think the next logical step for Nintendo will be a GameCube emulator or a Game Boy emulator.
I would say GameCube because they've done NES, SNES, Nintendo 64. They're gonna do GameCube.
See,
Well,
I would
here's-
love for them to do like Game Boy and Game Boy Advance.
They'll probably do that after GameCube because I feel like they'll stop at GameCube because we, as a console, it's in my opinion too still new to be an emulator. If that makes sense.
I mean, there's one that exists.
My problem is that it'll jack the price up of the full package to probably now $100 a year.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I think it will be about, I'd say, 60 a year if they added the GameCube. I feel like that
a year of Game Pass. That would be our target market here. Like, they don't want to. Well, it's Nintendo and they're fucking stupid. I was gonna say they don't want to price themselves out of that kind of market because Game Pass being X dollars per year, they won't want to go above that because that's arguably their biggest competitor. Because PlayStation now already priced themselves out of the market by being fucking stupid.
Same thing with Funimation.
Did you hear they locked more shit behind the Crunchyroll paywall?
Yeah, and now you have to pay $150 a year.
Hey, you need more lube, okay?
Yeah.
But and they wonder why more people are turning back to piracy.
Yar, bitches.
The One Piece is real.
Can we get much higher?
I love that the crying Chopper is making a renaissance of memes. By the way, there was a Puccietta one that was hilarious. But no, like I don't think Nintendo would want to price themselves above that because they already see how PlayStation is failing in that regard. But then you got to stop and realize that it's fucking Nintendo, and Nintendo is going to Nintendo, so they could probably make $150 and people will pay it, and they know it. Just disgusting because I would. I'm currently not subscribed to the premium version of Nintendo Switch Online though. I'm waiting until Pokemon Stadiums come on there. Because I can
I'm not going to do it at all. Because 50
all of the shit. And that's the thing. Like well, I'm willing to pay it. It's not that I'm going to pay it. And I agree with Tyler. Like, there's a fucking limit. There has to be a limit to what they do. Unless they put some games that are very, very hard to acquire on there, there's really not a whole lot of point to the service. And let's be realistic. You can go on any ROM site and find, you know, the original Zeldas. You can find, Majora's Mask.
You
Yeah.
can emulate Zelda 1 on a potato, for fuck's sake.
You can.
You can literally emulate it on your phone.
I can emulate it on the top screen of my phone. It's so small.
I
But no,
can
like
emulate it for $20 and a Fig Newton.
it's like the equivalent of 64K. But the thing is, like, it's like Skyrim, right? It's been everywhere. Um, and now Skyrim is $70. Thank you, Todd Howard.
Jesus fucking Christ!
The Switch anniversary edition is $70 fucking dollars.
What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's right on Twitter.
What cross fuck?
Yep, Nintendo themselves tweeted it with a store link page or a store page link, and I fucking vomited. I have bought Skyrim on nearly every platform. I don't have it on. I have it on my goddamn Alexa in the living room. Okay, I'm not paying $70 to play it on Switch. I'm sorry. I will pay for the upgrade, which is the more logical version of this. Is you can buy like the regular enhanced version and then upgrade it. But even then, you technically will have paid $70 for it by the end of it because it was originally $60. It'd be, $80 for the upgrade. But it's so stupid. Like, I hate that we're in that era of gaming where fucking something is $70. It's been out for literally 15 fucking years.
And currently, I got my sights on something that's $60 that's been out for 5 years.
What would that be?
Xenoblade 2.
Oh god. Yeah, Nintendo games never go on sale. Is the point we're making? And when they do go on sale, it's like 5% off.
Yeah. You. With the money you save, can't even buy him a good pair of socks.
No, it could buy you somebody's used cum sock from Goodwill, and that's about it.
I think you've just broke Tyler.
I think I did. I'm glad you found that so funny.
I'm sorry. I may be 19 now, but I still have the same sense of humor for when I was 12.
I mean, same. But it's what makes us so young is what's so funny is like we still have that childish sense of humor. I died laughing when reading Chainsaw Man, and his only goal in the beginning was wanting to touch some boobs. I'm like, yeah, when I was your age, that was my only goal too. It's so stupid, but it was so relatable because that's the pre and pubescent brain of a fucking dumb teen boy is like, I want to touch booby, uh, uh, but that's something so fucking laughably stupid about Nintendo's brain power is like they don't realize that not putting a game on sale is only going to turn people towards secondary markets, be it like used gaming or fucking, piracy, and that's
Precisely. Honestly, Nintendo, I love you, but you're acting like a stubborn grandpa.
mm-hmm.
And I love a stubborn grandpa because they can be funny as fuck. But you need to learn to stop being so stubborn.
Oh yeah, I found on TikTok. I know most dumb stories begin with I found on TikTok, but the the Walmart was zeroing out like prices of overstock games, right? So it was so satisfying to see a game like Xenoblade Chronicles X with a 1 penny price tag on it because they had
Wait,
too many.
what?
They had too many copies of this Walmart, so the dude just bought the entire stock and put them on eBay and just profited.
Oh, fucking.
I hate flippers, but it's satisfying when it happens to Nintendo in a sick way. You know?
I just want to play Xenoblade Chronicles X and not have to break my back and bang.
It's the single game that I wish would get ported to Switch, because then I could sell my fucking Wii U.
Hey, if you need a reason to sell some shit, you could sell your copy of Xenoblade X to me.
I'd rather die.
Oh,
And not because of who you are, because of how fucking hard it was to get a copy of it.
yeah. I think
that fucking game cost me $450.
what the actual hell?
What the fuck?
Because I
That's
sold my
crazy.
original copy.
What? You sell one?
I think you need to put it, get a glass container and another glass container and a jail cell and another glass container
I need to
and
put that shit in like the Swiss bank.
Yes.
But no, like
You didn't put that shit in Fort Knox.
I stupidly sold my original copy because I thought it was getting ported. And then year 2 went by, and year 3 went by, and year 4 went by from the Switch. I'm like, it's not getting ported, is it? And I hunted one down on eBay, and that was the cheapest fucking copy on eBay. I saw copies of that game at the time I bought it going for $1,000 fucking dollars. And I wanted to rip my eyes out. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, I could have been one of these motherfuckers. That's a month's rent right there, god damn it. And I'm spending a half month's rent on buying this game back. And now it sits on my shelf since I've beat it. And I just look at it like you are my cardinal sin for retro gaming. Because if I hadn't sold you, but I think everybody that goes through that phase of like where they had to trade in games to buy new games because they had a allotted amount of money, like they did shit like that. They go back and wish they hadn't traded something in, or sold it. Mine before that was Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door because I sold all my GameCube shit when I bought my Wii. Like Scott the Woz, ironically. Only I don't have a G4 deal. But yeah, like it's fucking unfortunate, man. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was so much fun. Xenoblade Chronicles X was just fun because it was mechs. Like the story in that game was not as good. So I will warn you that.
I still have to beat. I remember because I picked up the original Xenoblade Chronicles for $60. I should have just gotten the definitive edition in hindsight, but it was right there. It was in front of my face,
Oh
and
yeah.
I bought it. And it's one of the most fun games I've ever played in my life.
Oh, for sure.
But
I imported that shit before it got an American release. I have a UK version of it.
nice. But my big problem is before the last two bosses, it doesn't let you save.
It does now. They tweaked the difficulty in that game when they did the definitive edition on the 3DS, and then again for the Wii port. So yeah, or the Switch port.
Which
Not
part?
the Wii. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should. Why didn't I just get the definitive edition?
I don't know, man. But there's something satisfying about beating that original version. I still have like the same issue as you on one game file. I think I talked about this during the boss battle tier list, but I'm not entirely sure. But there's a final dungeon in Star Ocean, the Last Hope. So in the original version, this bonus dungeon is tiered for like past the first room. It's tiered for like level 50 plus characters. It's specific weapon sets, right? Because you can change your gear. And my dumb teenage brain, when I was playing it, the original version, right? So let's go to my RPGs here. I guess where I can read my folders. So I have the PC port now. So like my teenage brain didn't understand what bonus dungeons were, even though I've been playing RPGs my entire life. Like I never really dove too far into like that far of a game. But I enjoyed the story of this one so much. I'm like, I want to beat everything it has. Didn't understand like once you get in there, there's no fucking save point whatsoever. I was like level 35 when I beat the game. And being level 35 in a level 50 something dungeon past that first room is hell in an RPG. It's even more hell in an active battle RPG. So yeah, I had never beat that until I played the PC port. And apparently, like all the 4K remasters of it got little tweaks. But I remembered what a hell it was, so I leveled up accordingly and grinded the hell out of this game, just so I could avoid that embarrassment. I rented that game from Family Video, that original version, at least like 60 times trying to beat that fucking final dungeon before I finally gave up. To the point where the store just gave me the game. They're like, you've more than paid for it with your rental fees. Here. uh, Fucking RPGs, man.
Yeah.
So, what's your gaming sin, Luke? We know you have to have one.
My gaming sin is when you say gaming sin, like
Some
what?
decision you made in a game that cost you hundreds and hundreds of hours, probably.
Oh, what was it? What was it? Dumbest decision in a game was basically, again going back to freelancer, playing the Discovery mod and finding out that a ship that I wanted that costed hundreds of millions turned out to not be that great of a ship.
Ooh, yeah. See, in those types of games, like that actually hurts a lot more. Because
Yeah.
you're spending literally hundreds of hours of grinding's worth of money on something that sucks ass.
Yeah.
I did that somewhat recently before I ended my membership to Final Fantasy 14 because I spent like a combination of like real world money and like in-game money towards a weapon that for my class seemed amazing. And then they changed the whole meta for my class and and now the weapon absolutely sucks. That's definitely not the reason why I suspended my membership, not at all. Um, well, I didn't rage quit an MMO, not at all. But no, like I fucking hate when games do that. Like the meta shift, it's the worst thing ever in any kind of game, and that's what kind of burnt me out of Siege, a game that I spent way too much money in. Uh, yeah, you don't talk about that one, Ubisoft. Don't talk about that one. It got to the point where Ubisoft would email me like, "Hey, did you actually mean to buy this on your account? I wish Blizzard did that for Overwatch loot boxes. That would have told me how much of an idiot I was back then. Because I was barely making any money at that point. And I was spending a fuck ton of money on loot boxes. Because I wanted all of the skins. And I haven't touched Overwatch since Wrecking Ball came out. Yeah. That's about 3.5 years worth of shit I'd never even touched. Could you imagine if I went back to that with that same mindset of I have to have every skin now?
Well,
You do.
I now my skin addiction's been Fortnite, but I only buy stuff from like the crossovers that I like. Like they put the alien ones back in the shop, and I fucking love aliens, so I'm like, of course I'm gonna buy the chest burster emote that has a llama. I hate myself for saying those words together in that sentence. It's so fucking stupid. But like, there's certain things that like you just gotta realize like it's not worth it. It's not worth spending this much money on a game. And that to an MMO player is the hardest thing, you know, because a lot of MMO players fall into that cycle of like, I need to grind, I need to do this, I need to do that. The second a new expansion comes out, but a lot of games now will have those little perks like if you pre-order the expansion, we'll give you a scroll to level you up. And it's as Cartman puts it, pre-ordering a game is like getting fucked in the ass.
well, speaking of getting fucked, I need to get ready for work, so I will catch yids later.
Yeah, catch you later.
Yeah,
Tyler.
catch you later.
But yeah, like I think the last. Oh, I can't even say that because I technically do have a game pre-ordered right now on Steam. But I know I'm going to buy it anyway. And it's Final Fantasy Crisis Core Remake. But like before that, I think the last game I actually pre-ordered was fucking Stray, the Cyberpunk cat. But before that, it was like shit. Fucking. I think it was Prey 2018. Like it's been that long because I just been buying what I, want on Steam since like the very late Xbox One era. Like it's how long I've been basically a PC gamer at this point again. And it's so refreshing to be able to open Steam up and just be like, I might like that and just buy that and not have to worry about it. But my Steam recommended is such a hellscape right now because I bought like 3 or 4 hentai games. So
But
I'm getting recommended like femboy fuckers and shit like that. It's really it's telling on multiple angles what my fucking Steam is.
yeah, I don't think I've ever pre-ordered a game.
I unironically pre-ordered South Park: The Stick of Truth so I could get
That was the one game I was very, very, very close to pre-ordering, but I thought, no, I'll wait.
and so I could get a fucking the Grand Wizard Eric, which outside of the context of the Stick of Truth sounds like a white supremacist dog whistle.
Yeah.
But like,
and also, another out of context thing is
Coon fucking Cartman.
Yeah, but also the Kingdom of Cooper Keep, the KKK, and also I guess now
Cartman is such a piece of fucking shit.
Of course he is, but also as well we now have to. They've now retconned
Token to Tolkien.
Yeah.
But
Which
like,
doesn't make it any better.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I think that was the point of it. But like, he was the token black character in the token black family for the longest time, and now he's the Tolkien because they really liked the Lord of the Rings, which doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make the canon for that show any better. But
No.
there's also a fucking series that had
Plus, as well, did anyone like? I've never once seen anyone complain about that.
I I saw like one take for Mothers Against the bullshit group that Sheila was a parody of in the South Park movie.
Oh, what was it?
It was a
It,
cold night, a
it was
long night,
it was a cold
long night.
night. It was
Oh,
it
It was
a
a
love
night
devil.
full of ambitions, full of
Full of
dread.
ambitions and probably way too much cocaine, right? Right, Ann Arbor?
We
Fuck yeah!
we knew Ann Arbor, the Luck Devil, was going to show up at some point.
It was just our
Cocaine's the
luck. And it was
best.
while we're talking about South Park.
See, I was called. South Park called me to my destiny. Now I'm here, granting you all permission to speak with me, and not letting Vex finish any sentence he plans to.
That's fine. I can sit here and look pretty for the rest of the video. I can turn my webcam back on.
Thank you.
But no, like, I got two things to tie to South Park. But this is like a series that had like a man or a child feed another child his literal parents' remains that he had killed by police. You know, it's fucking also a series where you had Big Gay Al for the longest time as like the one gay character, and and then they made the devil gay with Saddam fucking Hussein.
And then you have them having their stance on climate change with Man Bear Pig, and then
One thing they've corrected in that series, like they very really were like early on shitting on climate change, and then like they're like, oh, this is very real. Let's change our Man Bear Pig stance.
but they still
That's what
managed
should.
they still managed to be ignorant about it by making the guy like, okay, Man Bear Pig is real, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's a really weird take. It's a really weird take, but it's honestly like a realistic one. Like, because at this point we're so fucked. What can we really do?
Yeah. Have you guys heard about Norway and how bones are literally rising out of the ground?
Oh, God.
Climate change, my friends.
Did you hear about the There's one sinkhole that opened up like literally 3 cities over from me. That sucked up like almost an entire fucking parking lot's worth of vehicles.
You know what the worst thing is? In a car-based society like America is,
Yeah, give us our
people
fucking
will
trains.
even be sad.
Give us our fucking trains, people, before it's too late. But no, like it sucked up like the entire parking lot, and then like literally a city over from me, and a fucking parking lot got on fire. Yeah, it's insane. Like climate change, be a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But they also think that the parking lot fire was also helped by arson, so that's always a thing here too. But yeah, like that was one that they changed, and I really like South Park. I still need to watch like most of the last season, but it really is in a renaissance too. But the other renaissance that we're having right now is our next video. It's Power Rangers.
Yes, I know.
This is hell! This is hell! I'm in hell right now. People, save me! I'm being held hostage here. Save me!
You don't have to be a part of it.
You don't have to be a part of the video. No, like the video's not being recorded right now. We're not bulk recording. This is just a podcast. But no, like that's our next video, and so refreshing to be in a renaissance of that kind of content, because now we have stuff like the Massiverse popping up and being really super popular, like Radiant Black, Rogue Sun.
My friends, you know what the worst thing is about those people here with me in the call? We have a fucking voice channel to record fucking podcasts, but you know who doesn't use them? Those two guys!
Oh yeah, we're just using Mod VC. I honestly forgot that channel existed. I'm also incredibly high right now, Ann Arbor, so maybe cut me a little bit slack.
I'm inverse. I also want to be high.
I mean, if you were here, I would give you the last blunt in this jar.
You are a true friend.
because I have a bag full of edibles, so I don't need it. But those edibles are to more help me sleep than record content. But no, like that's the really weird thing. Right now, Super Sentai and Ultraman of all things is having a really big renaissance because we're getting like series of comics from fucking Marvel of Ultraman, which I never thought I'd see the day, and then I saw it in my recommended because I was on Amazon because Amazon now owns Comixology, and the only way to resubscribe to a series is to go to the Amazon website and fucking resubscribe to it because I had to change all my addresses, and when I changed all my addresses, it fucking canceled all my subscriptions, and I fucking hate Comixology now.
Long live our gods at Amazon. I welcome you, my gods. Please grant me my wishes.
Okay, so I want you to go load trucks for 12-hour shifts. Since you want to worship Amazon.
I worship and not work for them. There's a difference.
Technically, we don't anymore either. But no, like that is such a fucking interesting concept that I recommended it to me because I follow Kyle Higgins. Kyle Higgins wrote the Shattered Grid arc of Power Rangers and is working on Radiant Black. So since we kind of are subscribed to that for channel purposes, recommended it. I'm like, oh, there's Ultraman comics. This has been going on for 3 fucking years and I didn't know it.
Wow.
And now we have stuff like Ranger Reject and so many of these like nice little side projects to things like that. And I wish that something else would come back. Luke, do you remember Beetleborgs?
Yes, I do remember Big Bad Beetleborgs.
That is the dumbest fucking name on the planet. You cannot.
That is even dumber than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We also have Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh, the Biker Mice from Mars.
Can we just talk about how Americans have the worst fucking names for their series? Alright, Japan exists, sorry. America's on the number 2.
I can put you to all of the Oni-chans and Oni-samas in the world and fucking Kaguya-sama and all of these, dumb, honorific.
Don't say anything bad about Kaguya-sama. That author is genius.
I hate the overusing of honorifics. I can't help it. Not everything has to be Not everything has to be a chan or san or sama. And you can just normally, please.
Because in Oshinoko, the other work he makes, he writes more like he doesn't use any honorifics.
See, you can do it, Japan. You can do it. But no, like fucking. There's also the dumb names of all of the isekai series over there, and you can't change my mind. Time I got reincarnated as a refrigerator in a dungeon.
That's a great series. I've never read it, but the name alone is great.
Or Jobless Reincarnate, or all of this. The time I got reincarnated as a vending machine, or
as a slime.
I got reincarnated as or so what, I'm a spider, shit like that. Like that's just dumb Japan 101. Like, come on.
Durarararara. I love it.
Oh god. Too.
It's a great series, to be fair.
Oh yeah.
But the name is stupid as well.
Fucking the hentai that comes out of it's great too. I definitely I definitely haven't fapped to fucking Kelty porn more times than I wish to admit.
You know what? I would like to make fun of it, but I'm not allowed to make fun of myself.
Exactly. I got a great Dropbox link for you if you want it.
I have my own link. Don't worry. I have a great collection.
Oh god, sharing hentai with the bros.
There's nothing gay about it.
There's nothing gay about sharing hentai with the bros. As two like queer people talk here. But no, like that's fucking hilarious. Like, just thinking back to all of those, I would love to see like VR Troopers and Big Bad Beetleborgs and Mystic Knights of Kirnatog, like those dumb fucking attempts at Sentai to come back now that we're in such a renaissance of that kind of content, because I think like as fascinated as the world is right now with like medieval shit again, Mystic Knights would do really well. Cause think about it, we have Game of Thrones having 17,000 fucking spin-offs, so Lord of the Rings has a prequel on right now.
Yeah, but the Game of Thrones spin-off is great.
I mean, it's incest series.
I think I was way too drunk when I watched it. I can't remember anything except for dragons.
I haven't watched a single episode of it, but I know like it's just like the fucking Targaryens fucking themselves throughout the entire series.
Wait, what? What am I listening to?
The Game of Thrones prequel series.
Well, Ryan Line always fucks with itself. Look, you are British, you should know it. I'm not being racist here. Never. I was never racist in my life.
I don't think that counts as being racist. I think that's just dunking on the royal family, which is like universally accepted. But no, like it's literally like that entire show. Honestly, is like heavy on the incest and the sexual assault and shit.
I remember one plotline was that a 50-year-old dude should marry a 12-year-old girl.
Wait, what?
Luke,
yeah, that's
it's just accepted.
Something
Royalty.
That's something that happens in Game of Thrones. Yeah, and
I mean,
not just once.
It happened in the real world as well. Let's not play it as if that never happened.
It's a play on that time. It's something that happened during that era in history, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. But I also think that it's important to show that it happened, to accept your fucking past.
Yeah.
I mean, I speak as a drum here.
Is very, very important part of overcoming your past is accepting that it happened and correcting that action.
Something that Americans never do. I mean, when do you guys learn about all the shit that you did, that Americans did? I think in high school or something. I heard about slavery and all the fuck.
Define the awful shit that America did.
Nukes on Japan, for example.
That. Even in my backward school. Probably horribly inaccurately. But we
for example, in Germany, we are getting taught at the 4th grade all of the history about the World War I, and that we were the reason for it, and we were at fault for starting World War I.
Yeah.
Starting 6th grade, we are learning the history of World War II, and that we were at fault.
Yeah, I wonder if in like 20 years, when like Gen Z takes over the fucking country finally, thankfully, we have it written into our history textbooks that like how horrible we were during the Iraq War and how many civilians we killed with our drone strikes.
We learned about that,
and they'll try to cancel it. Like they try to cancel everything.
You know, like fucking critical race theory in Florida is not a thing because Florida just needs to be, you know, cut out of the union along with Texas.
I'm
getting canceled in the comments for this one.
Fucking, we'll cut America out of the planet. Don't worry. I'm already working on it. I have a knife.
I'm listening to a German want to commit war crimes against America here.
Nothing new here. This is nothing new in the world.
And you've got a British guy just in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you're just drinking your tea, eating your crumpets right now, plotting the downfall of both of us secretly from the shadows.
No, what's the best thing in this whole fucking world? Germany committed 2 world wars. Britain is Britain, but we are still. Both countries are more accepted than the French. No one likes the French.
No, fuck the French.
To every French person, I'm German. You should expect that I dunk on you.
Yeah, I'm also, you know, part French. strangely.
Oh, that
and
explains a lot.
So am I.
Yeah.
No wonder I dislike both of you. I shouldn't talk like that as a Russian.
Yeah, no. I think you're universally despised right now. Fucking commie.
Yeah, considering I'm a quarter Ukraine.
I'm also quarter Ukraine. That doesn't matter anything.
I mean,
Coming out to the.
I'm sure you Russian piece of shit, had a different version of getting Ukrainian in you.
I'm just making. I find it funny. It's almost Americans. You can't complain about the Spanish people. I'm 5% Spanish. This is just how look.
Cancel on Twitter.
I could make
Cancel
fun.
the look devil. Cancel the look
I
devil.
could make fun about the Spanish people right to his face and he would laugh at me himself.
Anybody
Because here,
cyberbully anybody recently? Yeah.
yeah, I cyberbullied Luke a lot. I can start cyberbullying you.
You
I
ever
don't care.
cyberbully somebody so hard that they shut their entire Twitter down?
Should I try leaking your IP address?
Please don't. Oh, I quote retweeted a tweet today.
Oh.
Because anybody here that's a My Chemical Romance fan realizes that Danger Days is like a fucking universally like panned album. Their last album before whatever the fuck they're working on now, and the Conventional Weapons EPs. Anyway, their last like studio album was kind of like meh. It's pretty universally accepted. So this person was in the replies.
To be fair, I think every album of them was kinda meh.
I love them. I paid $1,200 to see them. I probably shouldn't brag about that.
I mean, I will pay the same for some 41.
Right? Okay, so I'm sure there's some band that Luke would also probably pay an exorbitant amount of money for to see. But no, like
I would pay so much money for just one ticket for Metallica.
That's just general admission for Metallica. I should know. I've seen them twice.
I've only once. I'm so sorry. I disappointed you, mama and father.
But no, like that. I saw them once at Riot Fest, so I don't think that counts. But no, like that. But no, like they were in the replies of Motionless in White's bassist wife, like being a piece of shit. Basically sending death threats to them. I'm like, I just basically like, quote retweeted them like, "Hey, Gerard's not gonna blow you for cyberbullying when he's universally against bullying." They blocked my main, right?
So that was what that was on Twitter.
So I quote retweeted the response that they left my main from my alt, my Beck squared, and just shit on them more for, you know, running from their problems, which ironically is what the album they're defending is about, is not to run from your fucking problems. So I'm just over here like, yeah, this you. They blocked my alt. I log into the channel account and quote retweet them again. Oh, the accounts I can account, and they delete their Twitter.
You are a bad person. You need to be spanked and punished.
I'm like, I didn't say anything universally bad against them, you know. I'm just calling out their behavior as something that the band that they're standing would not approve. You know, it's not like I'm bullying with the intent to be a piece of shit. I'm bullying with trying to educate them and like what the album they're trying to describe and why it's so important is actually about if you break down the theme of the fucking album. I didn't know I was such a music elitist till I got on this rant. But
I mean, it all started about South Park, but when I came and yeah, stuff happens when I'm here.
But like, I tend to gatekeep just a smidge, and
Or I gatekeep a lot.
But like, there's some types of fans that don't belong in a fandom, and if you're doing the exact thing that the message of the band is about, you should not be a part of that fandom, in my opinion.
Correct.
So, like, I didn't mean for them to delete their account. I meant to teach them an actual, like, lesson.
Life lesson.
Like, don't go through life being a piece of shit, you know, especially if you want this band to appreciate you and look at your and interact with you, like your fan art, your shit like that, because that's the type of fan they are. They're like early 2018 or 2016, like before the porn ban of Tumblr, before they reversed it, I guess, now. Like, they were that kind of stan that would have, like, the full wall of the Supernatural back in the day. But a Twitter version of it, but all dedicated to My Chemical Romance. And also, like, sending death threats to musicians or their spouses is always a big no-no. Like,
whoever sends death threats to anyone should be just killed straight off. I'm looking at you, Vex.
I have never done that. I don't have quote retweets of me with just this the fucking snowball fight with Patrick of just die. No, I don't ever do that at all on Twitter. I don't do it seriously. But like that's something that I always hate. I always hate when they're actually like, you literally should die for your opinion kind of thing. That's never the case. Like, people actually do kill themselves because of that. Me joking around with Rad for his shit opinions about zebra cakes. No. But no, like, that's something I got into today, and I just wanted to reflect on it because I feel horrible because they deleted their account, you know. But at the same time, if you can't, you know, interact with that kind of toxicity on social media, it's very much not a place for you. Because no matter how much we try to be content friendly and, you know, teach these great, you know, lessons through these stories that we review, the internet is not always going to be 100% on your side. I still, to this day, in my DMs on Reddit, from the fucking thread that I put up shitting on Goldie Pond, like, still in my DMs on Reddit, like, I get death threats every fucking day from the Promised Neverland fandom. And that review is what, 4 years old now, Luke? Goldie Pond is.
I think so. Let me actually go back and actually look.
Still to this day on Reddit, I get death threats in my inbox. Same with Twitter.
But going up to that, like, even though you don't like it, like, I think people need to accept that you're never gonna like it, even though, ironically, a lot of people now are coming out and saying it's better than Gracefield.
I don't understand that take. Gracefield had the suspense, it had the actual, like, the demons being a threat. You know, this is before, like, we had kids with guns the fucking arc. Like,
To be fair,
the introductions of firearms into the story kind of lessen the threat of the demons.
True.
Fans was stuff to the threat in Goldie Pond. To play devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
But no, that was what it was. Demons were still a threat in Goldie Pond.
Well, they were still a threat because it was a culling game, essentially. It was Battle Royale, the series or the movie, like, brought into manga in a sense, which is a through thread of a lot of manga now, is like Battle Royale. The games blew up, Battle Royale, the manga blew up. But I genuinely think that the introduction of firearms overall lessened the threat of them and the like, even to the end of the story. It really made the whole final war kind of like nothing. But I also still hate the ending of Promised Neverland above everything else.
Yeah, it was 4 years. It has been 4 years since Goldie Pond. But and here's the thing. Here's the thing about the ending of Promised Neverland. I've always maintained that it's not the worst ending in the world. There are far, far, far worse endings out there. Like, I'd say the ending to Attack on Titan is far worse.
Nah. I think Attack on Titan is still better than Promised Neverland. I mean, it's not a School Days level of brilliant ending.
But here's how, again, I've always maintained the ending would have been better for Promised Neverland if Emma had not only lost the memories of everyone, but she also lost the ability to see them. Like, from her perspective, she can't see them, but they can see her.
Oh yeah. honestly, like,
Because that would bring full circle of the fact that the demon god said you will never see your family again.
yeah, like I don't understand what the team was working with on that ending still to this day.
They didn't know themselves.
And
That's the only thing I would change about the ending.
And the thing is, like, we still get hate comments to this day about our takes on, Promise Neverland, and the comments of like those like anywhere from like 5 to fucking 3-year-old videos, like our final video on Promise Neverland about the ending, like even that still gets like shit comments on it because we're not agreeing 100% with how the author, wrote the story. It's our opinion that it was not well written. And
Fuck you! How dare you have an opinion that isn't the same as
exactly, but
mine?
that's kind of how the internet functions. It's like either they're sucking your dick or they want you to die in a fire.
Well, a big problem why that is also that people only see what they want to see, what they support. That's why we have algorithms like, oh, this is what you like. We won't show you things you disagree with. Why shouldn't we?
Yeah,
and this is why. Sorry to interrupt you, thanks, but this is why we have people like Renegades Media who get salty about Popeye vs. Saitama, even though the author has come out and said Saitama is not invincible.
Right, and see, like the thing is, like I've tested the algorithm on YouTube with like burner accounts, right? So on one, I went down like a whole like going down like people like right wing like YouTubers like the Quartering, Yellow Flash, Hero High, people like that we shit on constantly, just to see like what a front page for that type of person would be like. Another one I went down like only people that only had hateful opinions about like Rooster Teeth and Ruby and shit like that, just to see what the kind of that front page would look like. And then I went down one that was like, your generic anti-tuber, because I have like 7,000 Gmail accounts because I use them to like sign up for free trials and shit, like any sane human being will be. So I just use like all of these signed in and seeing what those front pages would look like. And it's insane how YouTube will recommend both sides of that still, just based on the metadata you put in on a video. So the one where I was searching like hating on Ruby, right? Our Ruby reviews would come up, like the ones Red and I do. They would still come up on that, and that it makes sense why we would get comments that were like very anti to what our opinions were. So I figure it's the same for somebody that was like searching up like Promise Neverland reviews. They would get both sides of it to a degree, and they would just view like creator by creator, just like you would kind of try and consume everything about a game you love, or like you would do when Dr. Stone would come out. Like you would go and watch another YouTuber and see what their opinions on the chapter were. So I can see why those front pages would interact like that. And it kind of made, it makes sense because at the end of the day, during that video, during one of those Promised Neverland videos, I actually mentioned that Reddit thread, and how it was interacting. So you can just go on Reddit and search that up, and it would make sense that like my account would still get shit, like death threats in the DMs of that, because I've never changed my fucking username on Reddit because it's so old, and I just use it to pretty much anymore look at porn or or fucking I interact with like the Chainsaw Man subreddit, stuff like that. But I blame a podcast called Stiff Socks for me turning to Reddit for very stupid porn. Because I went down a rabbit hole after an episode of that podcast, and I thought that Goatsy was disturbing. No, there's worse on Reddit. Or Meat Spin. Ann Arbor, how's Meat Spin?
But at least there's one thing everyone can universally comment in harmony and say, at least the Promised Neverland manga wasn't a train wreck like anime was.
That's very factual. I still dip into the Promised Neverland subreddit occasionally just to see what the opinion was of the anime after it got done with the sub and it got done with the dub. Those were the last 2 times I dipped in there, and I saw a lot of people change their opinions about like which was the worst take on it, because once the anime came out, they thought it would fix a lot of things, right? That got rushed, and then and they were hopeful
good
that
joke, good joke.
yeah.
Okay, so well, facts about facts. What you well about Goldie Pond, but that arc was like I said when we did that video. That arc was just gift for them to make incredible in the anime.
Oh yeah, it was, and they fucked it up. And
they didn't even fuck it up. They didn't. They didn't even touch it.
They didn't even try to fuck it up.
That's right.
And my ex still liked the last fucking season 2.
I don't. There's a reason she's an ex. But no, like it just baffled me, man. That they thought that when they announced it was the final season that it would fix anything in pacing wise, you know. You got
all
what,
of our
12
dreams.
episodes of that shit.
Yeah, we got 1 8-second still shot. Emma meeting God. Like, how do you do that?
He's such a pivotal plot point in the fucking manga that it was foreshadowed for fucking literally like 30 chapters what it would be like to meet God and go to Kapadala and all of these things, and you got 8
and also you missed out on like the trippy mindfuck chapters with Emma and Ray, like Ray getting older, thinking like Emma's dead, being a kid again, finding Mama through Gracefield.
It's insane.
Like there's so much they could have done with that.
But they genuinely thought it would fix it. And then I got to watch like sub watchers freak out and how shit it was. I got to watch dub watchers freak out at how shit it was. And it was just mwah.
To the point that nobody wanted to be credited on the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, man. I wonder why like people even bothered wanting to be credited for Record or Ragnarok.
Don't even get us started again on Record of Ragnarok.
To be fair, Record of Ragnarok is just a disappointment, but it's not atrocious like Promised Neverland is.
It at least follows the source material.
But you know what? What's worse than both of those together?
Bunny Drop.
It's Berserk.
God.
But why? Why do I do this to my baby? Why?
I just hope that they get a good adaptation one day.
Well, never.
I don't think they will. I think the only explanation. Oh, you're talking about Berserk?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cursed. It's actually cursed. Like.
But you know what's even worse? Vinland Saga got a fucking great anime. It's fucking great. I love everything about Vinland Saga anime. Everything.
I know, and
that just makes it worse.
Season 2 is being done by a different studio.
Don't remind me. Don't fucking.
It's gonna be One Punch Man all over again.
That's what I was thinking too.
I would literally jump out of my window right now and kill myself.
So the suicide hotline.
Don't do that,
the suicide hotline can fuck myself. Look, just because you don't want me to do it makes me want to do it even more.
I feel bad laughing at that. But no, like, I hate when that happens to an anime that's good, that's doing good. It's getting everything right, and it gets shipped to a different fucking studio, because it almost always ends poorly. And
Yeah, but it's the reason for that mostly is that the animation studio can't afford to make the second season as high quality as the first one. For example, the One Punch Man series. The director of the first season had so many friends all over the world come to Japan to work on it. It was the manpower just because everyone was indebted to him. That he could just take them all. For season 2, he wouldn't be able to do it. Even if it was the same studio, it wouldn't be nearly as great because he wouldn't have all the people behind it anymore.
Yeah, and that makes sense. It's just disappointing. It's very disappointing when you have, such a great project be shit on. I have hope, and I have pride in the fact that Panty is talking with Garterbelt is getting a season 2. But I
Can't wait for it.
And it's being done by Trigger, so I have hope. But at the same time,
It's Trigger.
It's Trigger. It'll be good, but will it be as good as Gynex's first season?
Well, the right question is to ask: do they go to space? Because if it's Trigger, then yes. The answer is yes. They will go to space.
It's a weird feeling, because Trigger just made a perfect. Honestly, so far my anime of the fucking year was Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So I know they can still do good raunchy shit, considering the first episode basically had hentai in it.
I like hentai.
But at the same time, it just feels wrong. Because Gynex was such a holy studio in its heyday. And they fucked it all up. So I just want it to be good. That's all. I want the same for Vinland Saga because I fucking love Vinland Saga. But
so fucking great.
I just don't see it, and it hurts.
I miss it.
But we're at 2 hours and 16 minutes right now, so we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
Everyone, I love all of you guys, except if you are born on the planet Earth. If that's the case, then fuck you.
What the? I'm too high for this shit, Ann Arbor.
I don't even know what kind of drugs I took.
Well, that's never fun. Wait, what? Do you want me to bleep that?
Never. You shouldn't censor me. I should be free.
Okay. I forget it's Germany. Who the shit cares? Germany doesn't have to be upheld to the same laws as America. Fuck.
Yeah, because we know what's fun.
I took way too much Adderall on the fucking tour.
And that's it. Bye, my friends. Everyone, say adios. No, what? Fuck you. They don't get to say it. Bye. End of recording.
No, you don't get that. Peace.